Section 11.2, page 138, 139 is all about putting numbers into letters where they appear in formulae and then evaluating the formula. Let me put it into standard Walthamstow English. You shove in the letters where the numbers go and you work it out. Simple as that. Hence we're using formulae. Question 2, very straightforward. Let's just pick one of them, or two actually. Let's just do the last two. I've got a formula y equals 5x minus 12. I'm told that x is worth 10 and I've got to work out the y. So in other words, I put a 10 in there. I've got y equals 5 lots of 10 take away 12. In other words, y equals 50 take away 12, and that's going to give us 38. So I've done that one, and I'll do h as well. I've got here y equals 2 open bracket x minus 2. Again, the value of x is still 10 for the whole question, so y equals 2 lots of 10 take away 2. Well, that's 2 lots of, well, 10 take away 2 is 8. 2 8s are 16. I've done it and I've got myself a grade F. Let me upgrade to some trickier ones involving more letters and more numbers. I've got, let's work on yellow I reckon. I've got x equals 3 to use, I've got y equals 4 to use, and I've got s equals 6 to use, and I've got t equals 0.5. Now, not all these questions have all these letters and values, but some have a complete mixture. So let's just work with those to see how far we can go. Let's pick D. I've got to work out R. R equals 2y minus a t. So 2y, so R equals 2 lots of 4. Take away a half, 0.5. Let's just do that now. Brains, 2 4s are 8. Take away a half, 7.5 or 7.5. Done. Let me just do G for you. It says here R equals yt. Well, that means y times t. In other words, 4 multiplied by a half, 0.5. Well, 4 times a half is 2. Leave that one alone. And I might as well do the last one. I've got R equals xy. Take away st. In other words, xy is going to be 3 times 4. So 3 bracket 4. Nice tidy way to do it. Take away 6 for the s times 0.5 for the t. Work it out. 12 take away 6 times a half. 6 halves is 3. Half of 6 is 3. 12 take away 3 is going to be 9. R is 9. I won't do any more of those. Question 5 is the first one that involves negative values. I'm just going to sort of plonk it down here, and I'll flip over the page for a few more. I've got to work out m equals 5y minus 1, and I'm told that y is worth minus 3. Substitute a minus 3 in there. What have I got? Work up here. M equals 5 lots of negative 3, and then take away 1. Well, 5 times minus 3 is minus 15. Now take away another one, so you go further down. Minus 15, take away 1 is minus 16. Sorted. Turn over the page. I won't do any more of those, it's very basic. I'll do 6, it's a lovely physics formula. I've got V equals IR, that's Ohm's law, voltage, current, resistance. And I'm told to find V if I equals 3 and R equals 42. So in the first instance, the current I is 3 amps and the resistance R is 42 ohms. Multiply 3 times 42, so voltage is going to be 3 times 42, no calculator. 3 40s are 120, 3 2s are 6, 126 volts. And I'll do the next one as well because it looks challenging because it's decimal places. Right, here's the next one. I've got V equals I, which is 2.5 amps in this case, times 96. How tremendously brilliant. Right, I've got now, oh please no, don't do this. Right, one way of doing it is to maybe perhaps double up on the 2.5 and call it 5. And if I double up on 2.5, I better half down the 96. So that's 45 plus 3. 45 would give me 48. 5 48s are quite nice, aren't they? Now let's carry on with this doubling and halving technique. If I double up the 5 and get 10, I can halve the 48 and go 24. And look at this, 10 times 24, 240. I'm sure it would have worked absolutely brilliantly had I done long multiplication, but I'm not going to do that now. Here are 2 formulae. So let's just do question 7. These are my 2 formulae. I have got y equals 2x plus 6, and I've got y equals 2 bracket x plus 6. X is 5, work out which formula gives the bigger value for y and show you working. In other words, I've got to shove a 5 in there, and I've got to shove a 5 in there, and let's just get on with it. Right, y equals 2 times 5 plus 6, that should be a bracket there, 2 5s are 10 plus 6, 16. And y equals 2, open bracket, 5 plus 6. Now we've got to obey the BIDMAS rules I showed you ages ago, which means 2 times 5 plus 6, 11. 2 11s are 22. Don't leave it like that. Go for the conclusion. Y equals 2 bracket x plus 6 is greater than y equals 2x plus 6, without the brackets, when x equals 5. Alright, that's the conclusion to the matter. Turn over the page, go back to black. Anything more complicated? Yeah, let's do question, I don't know, let's just do question 9. I like this one because it's about distance and time, and it's all physicsy and sciencey again. James is doing an experiment in science, incidentally. He uses the formula average speed, let's write it down. I'm sure you all know it, equals total distance travelled. Just call it distance. Too much to write, for goodness sake. Divided by total time taken. How about we just call it time, and we know what we mean by that. He uses this formula to work out that if an object has an average speed of 20, I better start labelling this, average speed of 20 meters per second and travels for 10 seconds, it must have travelled 2 meters. So 2 meters question mark. What mistake has James done? Great. Well, I can see that 10 times 2 makes 20, so James multiplied the distance and the time, and he should have divided. Let's just get a real answer, shall we? So I've got 20 equals distance divided by 10. Therefore, my distance is going to be 20 times 10. The distance, this should be travelling, this object should be 200, and since we've got meters per second there, we know it's going to be in meters as a final answer. So he went for 2 meters. The actual answer is 200 meters. So we can prove that James is wrong by actually working out a correct answer. Let's put a little yellow box around that, and there's your final answer, James. Alright, so go and learn your physics.